Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Brenna, human design reader and astrologer of Brenna's here for the last 9.5 years, teaching you all about human design and astrology, the overlap between the two, and understanding the current transits and your chart in a much more practical way. Today, we're going to be talking about gate 45 as we go through the Sun gate transit of Gemini, gate 45, as you may have guessed, during Gemini season and about the second week of June. This placement also applies if you have a 17 to 22 degree Gemini placement in your chart, which means the sun is transiting between 17 and 22 degrees. I've upgraded my editing skills here and I've added in the specific day that we're going through all of these transits. So when you guys are looking at this throughout your week, when you're planning your content, when you're figuring out things to do when it comes to personal relationships, business ventures, you kind of know what you're working on. And so I'll give you a little bit of a preview and tell you that this is a really good week to focus on your bag and your business. Without further ado, let's get into deep diving the meaning behind gate 45 and then what we're going to experience on each of the 6 days of this transit. So if you're feeling gate 45, which I know you will this week, or if you have gate 45 in your human design body graph, this is the gate of the gatherer. And gate 45 has this kind of regal, like disciplinarian, directing people energy, where it's really directing people when it comes to their investments and making sure that resources are protected. Now, this is primarily financial resources, but especially in a growing society, there's different resources, energetic resources, environmental resources, a bunch of different resources that we are needing to pay more attention to. So really paying attention to where your resources are running low this week or how you can help other people refine and take care of their resources, no matter how much abundance or restriction they have in these areas. It's making the most out of what you have and being a good person to consult about those things if you have gate 45 in your chart naturally. Now, the key here is consultation. You are not meant to get in the trenches and do the work for anybody else, even more importantly so because this gate sits in the throat center, which is not a motor center. As you guys know, I call the throat the communication station. It's about consulting people, sharing through your wisdom, implanting an idea, but letting people take that action and being really upfront about that, letting people know what your boundaries are this week, how you want to help people, but making sure that they are aware that you are not meant to be an assistant for them, but more so a guide. This is a really good week to discern what is worth investing our energy, our time, our resources into. So if you are kind of been sitting for a while, maybe doing a lot of planning, especially when we had the moon in Virgo a couple days this week and doing some work behind the scenes, this is a good time to also share how you've gotten your own stuff together. Where are you going to invest your energy to get the most return on your investment, the most bang for your buck? Especially if you're an entrepreneur, it can be really challenging, especially for my newbie entrepreneurs, to figure out exactly where you're going to allocate your energy. Even I have to do an energetic reassessment to discern, especially during this week, where am I putting my energy? What's the biggest return on my investment? How are my people responding? How am I responding as a manifesting generator? You're always going to want to look at your energy type, strategy, and authority, and really paying attention to what's working and what isn't working during this week. This is also a great week because Gemini, ruled by Mercury, after all, to figure out where people need to heighten their education. What do you or other people need to be educated on further, right? What do you like to share? What do you also want to learn yourself? Maybe a good week to do some self-help work or to learn something new, to expand your mind when it comes to an area that you want to learn more about, to teach more about, ways to just educate yourself, really leaning into educational resources at your disposal that are going to be very helpful for you. Maybe you take some free courses from Harvard. A lot of the announcements being made about that this week. Yale also has a lot of free courses. Just investing in your education so that you can just do better. You can educate yourself better and also educate other people better. I will say that Bill Gates also has this gate in his human design body graph, so do with that information what you will. This is also a really good week, or if you have this gate placement specifically, to discern whether you're looking at the world as the glass half empty or the glass half full. It's very much a what wolf do you feed? And I've been channeling a lot a lot this week. Tongue twister. My words have also been getting way ahead of me. I start speaking the words at the end of the sentence at the beginning of them. Also, like Mercury retrograde in my natal chart, Aquarius Mercury things, just casual. But that's been a big theme of this week. Like, we're doing things too fast and then we have to go back and kind of execute. But if we take our time, if we slow down, we can work out those kinks and make it a little bit smoother. This is also a really good week, or a really good for you if you have this placement to detach from drama. It's a healthy sense of detachment here where you're like, I'm here for a purpose for this job. I don't have to enmesh myself or become codependent, especially if you have an undefined G center or an undefined ego motivation center. It's really important to look out for this during this week, and my projectors especially. Don't get wrapped up into being the facilitator or being the caretaker when you really want to prioritize the ways that your needs have to be taken care of, especially. So, now how does this affect us every day of the week of this transit for the next 6 days? On the first day, or if you have gate 45 in line 1, this is known as canvassing. And this specifically in politics is this idea of like doing really like foot to pavement, pounding the pavement marketing, where you're going door to door, you're collecting voters to connect with those people to really win over their vote and making the effort one person at a time. So if you think about this in your own business or your own life or in its exalted placement, really taking the time to invest in one person at a time. Also, highly recommend if you have a 1 in your profile in human design, but taking the time to really connect with people, to educate them on whatever it is that you want to educate them in, especially again when it comes to financial resources. Maybe you're connecting with a person one at a time, your loved ones, really reassessing your finances. That can also be, this could also be a really good day to do that. I also love that it's happening on a Friday because Venus Day, ruled by the gate of values, and a lot of people get paid on Fridays. Now, in its negative aspect, or what you want to watch out for today, is really trying to rush to get people to see your side and be super manipulative about this. So, if you speak your truth and if you just act from a place of passion and what excites you to convert people, right? This is converting where the other person knows what's happening. But if you try to do this by pulling the wool over somebody's eyes or like getting yourself engaged in shady business practices, I've seen this a lot. I actually had a breathwork person that I worked with a long time ago that had invested a lot in a course, and she was clearly making her course to just get back and the return on her investment that she invested into a course that wasn't that good, or frankly she saw something that somebody else was passionate about, paid for a course that was a one size fits all instead of what fits for her human design. And she was just trying to make something work that wasn't working anymore. It's, I think of like Mean Girls, where it's like, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen. That's what we were talking about during this day. So just paying attention for that, to paying attention to that today, paying attention for that on Friday, especially if you go live on any kind of platform. Just make sure that you're coming from a place of authenticity. Although I don't think I have a lot of people that are inauthentic that I connect with, thankfully, but we're just, really taking another discerning eye for that. And also watching out for where there may be people who are trying to sell you something that you don't necessarily need today. Now, on the second day of this transit, this is line 2, or the line of consensus. So if you have gate 45 in the second line, this is where there's this kind of like homey, cozy gate 2, line of the hermit, coming together for the general consensus of the people. What works really well for us and how can we teach each other a skill. I also like that this is happening on Saturday because this is a great day for workshops or making connections, going to your local coffee shop. One of my local coffee shops, really cute, does like a crochet circle. So this would be a really good day to do that. Or where's there a workshop or a place that you can host a coffee meetup in the morning for Saturday, or afternoon if you're like me and also drink a cafecito at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm that girly. Or a matcha. I've been trying to switch to matcha. But all that to say, connecting over a warm drink, being comfortable, and doing a skill or a task that is helping to move the group forward in a beneficial way. Remembering that the overarching theme is tying this back to finances. So investing in yourself, investing in your community to make those resources abundant for all. In its detrimented aspect, this is where my heavy Aquarius dominant people can get yourselves in trouble. But generally speaking, it's also an aversion to community that is like pushing people away at the detriment of yourself and learning a new skill. So it's like, I don't want to conform. I want to be different. And then you don't end up getting the help that you really need to be able to progress yourself forward. So if someone rejects you, it's not your fault this week, right? It's probably them, especially if this is Saturday that we're talking about. Now on Sunday, June 8th, I love this. It is gate 45 in the third line, which is the line of exclusion. So in its exalted placement, this is really this extra emphasis of rejection is redirection, and figuring out like where you've been left out, where people aren't including you, where you feel like people are trying to pull fast ones on you. How is it actually protecting you from getting involved with those people even further, and pivoting to do whatever you need to do to make sure that your resources are taken care of, your resources are met, and that you are able to protect yourself. It's like, okay, listen, like I'm listening, universe, I'm not going down that path. How do I pivot? This is how this is going to look much better for me. In its detrimented aspect, a little bit more obvious here, where there's this incredible frustration in feeling and going against what's naturally flowing when you are rejected or excluded for whatever reason. So instead of being like, that's a them problem, not a me problem, you take it super personally. And something one of my therapists told me when I was in my early 20s that I mention all the time on my TikTok lives is don't take anything personal, even if it is, because 99.9% of the time, it's really not about you, right? We are in control of our own energy, of our own actions. And if that person's choosing to act upon or act on you, exclude you in some way, shape, or form, that's a them problem, right? Whatever they see that they are threatened by or that they're not comfortable with, it's protecting you, because do you even want to be around somebody that's phoning in the energy anyway? Probably not. So pay attention to the people, the places, the things that fill you up on a day like today. It's going to be really good for your energy. If you have gate 45 in the fourth line or on Monday, June 9th, the fourth day of this transit, I have to look at my calendar, we are leaning into direction. So it's pretty simple with this day. In its exalted placement, it's gathering people together to direct them to a common goal in a good way for mutual aid, mutual benefit of all parties involved. In its detrimented aspect, it's gathering together for a dog eat dog kind of energy. What's really cool is that on this day, I will actually be at an art opening event for my projector client that I mentioned in a couple other videos, Rachel. She's an amazing artist. I'll pop up some of her incredible artwork here because she's doing a tarot series. You guys can also get prints. I love her and adore her. We have had a lot of fun. I've been filming some content for her because she lives not too far away from me. But we will be at an opening for her art show, or an art show that she's a part of. So it's cool because we're going to see on this day, right, in real time, the people that are there for art's sake. Hopefully that's everybody. It's also a community art show for Pride Month. So you would hope that everyone is there for good intentions and coming together, but we'll also see the people that are just so obsessed with trying to get their artwork sold that they kind of exclude people and put their own foot in their mouth. It's always so interesting to look at this energy in real time and how her and I will be talking about this, because I know you're watching this, Rachel. We'll be talking about this. And yeah, just I'll let you guys know probably on my Instagram story the day of. If you want to be a part of my close friend story, just let me know. I'll probably talk about it there more privately. And then generally we'll be talking about the show on my IG. So that's all linked in the show notes. But yeah, just let me know if you want to see that in real time or what the gates look like in real time, because it's always fun to do that little detective work, I spy, and be like, oh, okay, I spy with my little eye what's happening here. On the fifth day of this transit on Tuesday, which is ruled by Mars, we're going to experience gate 45 in the fifth line, in the line of leadership. These are people who have this placement naturally, that are really known that they are here, that know that they are here to be leaders. They are here to connect with people and may have some material resources to back up whatever it is that they want to be in support of. Even if it's not, millions of dollars, any money counts towards the goals or the causes that feels good for you. Now, in its detrimental aspect, these are people who want to kind of usurp somebody in a position of power to jump the line without proving to their community, to their collective, that they're worthy of being in charge. Maybe not enough people know them yet, where it takes time to create trust with leaders in positions of power, no matter what that looks like in any version of, reality that we have. In small communities and larger communities, the person that's teaching your local gym class at the YMCA, or somebody who's in a more higher position of power in politics, right? We're really seeing that this week, or especially today on Tuesday. So watching out for that. Know that your time is coming. Don't try to force it. If you haven't done the due diligence to show up online yet, right? If you say are working on marketing your business in a more public, professional way, and you're not posting content, you can't be mad at people because you slept on yourself. So that's where we just have to keep our side of the street clean, be a bit more self-aware, and just do better moving forward. Today is another good day to post, to put another drop out there, get in front of more eyeballs, meet and do something in person. Again, it's ruled by Mars, so finding some support for your Mars day. That's also going to be important as we're navigating through this transit today. Last but not least, 8:45 in the sixth line, the line of reconsideration. This is the last day of the transit on Wednesday, June 11th, where we are focusing on communicating or connecting, being a role model for taking care of the underdog. This is making sure that we are assessing where we have cast the wrong people out as outsiders and have reconnected them into the group, or integrated them in a comfortable way, in a way that works for everybody, and realize the error of our ways in doing things along those lines. Can also mean that we support people that we don't naturally support on days like today. Maybe there's somebody that we questioned their services, and then we realize that they actually are really good at what they do. It just took us time to be comfortable with them. Really paying attention to that during this day. and maybe sharing support, sharing testimonials of ways that other people have supported you that you didn't necessarily do once before, or, asking if people can do that for you. This can also be a good day to do that. Now, in its detrimented aspect, this is trying to make a person that is different from you conform to your exact way of being. I will remind you that human design is the science of differentiation. So if I'm doing my job correctly and getting an A plus in the mentorship department, it's teaching you how to advocate for you. And I don't take your difference as an attack about the way that I operate. It's not personal, even if it feels personal, right? Because all of our body graphs are incredibly unique, incredibly different. That's why we call them our individual energetic blueprint in human design. We all serve the filing, or our place in filing in the filing cabinet of the universe, because we're all supposed to play our part in a specific role in a specific way. So that is the energy for this week. I hope you have a beautiful weekend going into Venus Day today at the time of this posting. Really lean into getting comfortable in your body, figuring out where you can take stock of your material resources, and letting me know if you have any comments or questions, curiosities about any other of the placements that I mentioned. Please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share, connect with your friends, help spread the word of human design in a way that is more aligned for them, and send this to your bestie that may have gate 45 in their human design body graph to help highlight the skills that they have, or to recognize the skills that you have within you. So I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for being here. And I have a couple other fun videos that are coming up over the course of this week about Jupiter getting into Cancer, dressing for the astrology of the week, a couple other really good things coming down the pipeline. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you guys soon.